So, today is actually Mother's Day. So I'm hoping that you've all done something wonderful for your mother here. I can see Veena Vadini Mataji's mother here. And so everyone often, the father is very strict at times, generally considered, no? The father's a little bit harsh, a little bit strict. So when there's a problem that comes, who do you run to? You run to mum. Then she will tell dad in a simple way. So likewise, in our spiritual life, sometimes we'll have problems. And Krishna can be very didactic, giving instructions. Such is his nature. But in his manifestation as Srimati Radharani, he's extremely loving. And so our transcendental eternal father is who? Lord Krishna. Aham bija pradapita. He says that he's the seed-giving father. But who's our eternal mother? Srimati Radharani. And this same Srimati Radharani, who is so loving in nature, has this wonderful mood of devotion to such an extent which is revered by the greatest scholars, the greatest devotees. Within the technical terms, within the various levels, we have different stages of devotional service. And she is situated not only in the mood of love, prema bhakti, but within that mood of prema bhakti, there are further 9 stages. And she is the only person situated on the topmost platform, on the stage of Mahabhav in prema, or the greatest emotion, the greatest love that one can have. And so, her position is so unique because there is not a single person like Srimati Radharani with that kind of love. And such is the nature of Radharani's love that Lord Krishna himself, the person who knows everything, is God, and that's Lord Krishna. But even Lord Krishna is so attractive, and although he attracts everyone else, there's one thing which he was attracted by, and that is the love of Srimati Radharani. And so he descends in this age. Radha bhava dyuti suvalitam naumi Krishna swarupam. Taking the bhava and dyuti. Bhava means mood, and dyuti means complexion or form. So Radha bhava dyuti. Taking the form and the mood of Radharani. Suvalitam naumi Krishna swarupam. So adorned with these 2 things, Lord Krishna himself appears in this age. And he gives the essence of all philosophy. The essence and the conclusion of Vedic literature. The conclusion of all Shastra, all Siddhanta. And that's what we'll be exploring today, through this verse, through the holy name. The first place we got to begin before we look at solutions is to recognize that we have a problem. Who can tell me in this room that they have no problems? Anyone? No self-realized souls? Karshna Prabhu put his hand up. He says he has no problems. We all have problems in this material world. For such is the nature of this world. As a student, you might say, exams, exam stress. I've got my exams. This whole season is full of exams now. A person going work part-time has to balance maybe along with their university studies. Or someone who's looking for a job. Or if not, then afterwards you got with a family, you've got to take care of a family. You've got to make the husband happy. You've got to keep the wife happy. There's so many things, so many problems which we have. I'm sure that if I asked any of you, you could list over 100 problems right now. Such is the nature of this world. Dukkalayam ashashvatam is what Krishna says in the Gita. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkalayam ashashvatam. Dukkalaya means, alaya means room, and dukkha means misery. So it's like a place full of misery. Not only is it that, but ashashvata. It's impermanent as well. So, 2 things which have been established about this world. The problem is that we are in a world which is full of misery and it's impermanent. And so, Krishna also doesn't just give you the problem, he also tells you the solution. And not only does he give you the solution, but he comes as Mahaprabhu to give us the topmost solution, which we will see at the end is the chanting of the holy names. But you might say, wow, that's a big step. You've just given us a problem here, which is we're in a place full of misery. And the solution is just chanting the holy names. Sounds too easy, can't be right. But we're going to explore how that's the case. So, our modern life, our modern technology, something we've been discussing within our Pandava Sena groups recently, is that we always look for happiness. Every endeavor we do. The way you're sitting, the way, one person's leaning to a side because they feel it's comfortable, the way someone is standing, everything that you do is done because you think it'll bring you comfort and happiness, voluntarily. And so, we try and think that because we will become happier, we do so many external things to become more and more happy. Thinking that by doing this, I will become happy. By getting a big car, big house, top grades, big university. People think like this, they'll become happy. But are we becoming happier as a society? No. You see our interconnected nature, social media, for example. Wow, it's great that you can message someone. But also, what kinds of things are you consuming? What kind of things are actually influencing us? Are we becoming happier, or is our mental health degrading? It's going worse. So actually, by focusing on externals, our happiness is not increasing. So therefore, one realizes at that point that our happiness is not within this external nature, but within the spiritual nature, the shelter of Lord Krishna. And so, Krishna explains very nicely that you've got to live in this world, but there's no happiness in this world. So how do you do it? Suggestions from the audience. How does one become happy while living in this world? If they know that. How does one become happy while living in this world? If they know there's no happiness in this world? Yes? You're cheating. That's not allowed. Yes. Coming to ISKCON Manchester. Yeah. Okay. Spiritual places. Do you know what the problem?
Trusting Krishna for his actions, that whatever he will do for us, even if something bad is happening to us, he is planning something better.
Okay. Trusting Krishna's plan.
In one way, we are all travelers. We travel in various lives, in various planets. So if you're saying that this world is a place of misery, then let's stop traveling. Let's travel to a place which is not full of misery.
Very, very nice answers. Everyone's got very nice answers. So let's travel to a place without misery. And so how can we do that? Krishna explains very nicely in the Gita. What we can do is we can absorb our consciousness in spirituality, although we carry out material actions. Socially aware, you know what's going on around you, but not affected, because you're absorbed in spirituality. You're always thinking of Krishna, then you will not be affected. If one always thinks of Krishna with love in the heart, then how can something affect you? As when one is maddened with love, then there's nothing else that can come on the mind. So in this way, if one absorbs himself in the spiritual nature, Daivi Prakriti, one takes shelter of the spiritual energy, then they won't be affected. Because this material nature is three things. Repeat after me. Asat, Achit, Nirananda. Asat means it's not permanent. And so Achit means it's full of ignorance. And Nirananda means no happiness. We have our wonderful Anandaru Prabhu here. So Nirananda means there's no happiness. And the spiritual world is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Eternal, full of bliss, and full of knowledge. So you can choose. The choice is yours. Which nature you would like to absorb yourself in. And the best way of absorbing ourselves in the spiritual nature, someone might think, I shouldn't do anything material, should go to Himalayas or something like that, Meditate, don't do any work. If you don't do any work, you can't get any problem. That's impractical. Because what happens is you think you will control the mind, but the mind controls you. You think I will take over, but what happens? The mind takes over. And instead of going beyond the mind, you become subservient to the mind. And so in this way, we become Godas, not Goswami. We don't control our senses, but we become servants to them. So then what's a practical solution? Of always working and always absorbing in spiritual thought. And that is the chanting of the holy names. That is the chanting of specifically the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in this age. Because of not only its depth, but also its sweetness and its practicality. So, this verse, which we're going to be going deeper into today, is from Kulashekara Alvar, from another Vaishnava Sampradaya. So it's from the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. There are different lines coming from Lord Krishna, and one of them is coming through Mother Lakshmi. This is the group called the Sri Vaishnavas. And Kulashekara Alvar he's a wonderful king. Although he's a king, he's a great saint. Contradiction, yes? No? No. Because Arjun, warrior, but Krishna gives him Gita. Krishna tells him to fight. So people think that, Gita spirituality means you're doing something else, you're going into some other nonsense, or you're just giving up everything. No. Kulashekara Alvar is one of the greatest kings, but yes, he's a great saint. Because spiritually absorbed. This is important. And his mind is so absorbed in thought of the Lord, always. There are actually many wonderful pastimes that we can go into. And it's very important that we first pay our obeisances to Kulashekara Alvar, because to accept the mercy of the devotees is what allows us to go deeper into what they've said. So, now, let's open this big box, which will take us a lot of time to digest. Shatru Chedaika Mantram Sakalam Upanishad Vakya Sampujya Mantram Samsaro Chedha Mantram Samuchitamasa Sangha Niryana Mantram Sarvaishwaryaika Mantram Vyasana Bhujaga Sandhashta Santrana Mantram Jihve Shri Krishna Mantram Japa Japa Satatam Janma Safalya Mantram. The first thing, please remember, Kulashekara Alvar says, Shatru Chedaika Mantram, which means in English, this mantra, he's not telling us which mantra, this mantra destroys our enemies. Who wants their enemies destroyed? Anyone got a really annoying work colleague, you know? They're thinking right now, oh, this one person, I want them out of the way. Huh? Who wants their enemies destroyed? Everyone. You don't want anyone that's causing you misery. But the question is he asking, please get rid of my enemies, you know, this mantra I want to get rid of my enemies so I can enjoy. Which enemy are we talking about here? What is the real enemy? Yes, Bhuvaneshwari Radha Mataji. Lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and jealousy. What we call in Sanskrit anartha, which means meaningless. Artha means meaning, anartha means meaningless. Those things which have no meaning. So lust, it's this desire for self-praise. So this thing is our real enemy. Atmendriya priti vamcha dhare bali kama. The things we do for our own self at the cost of others. These things are called lust. And what we do, Krishnendriya pritiyacha, what we do for pleasing Krishna, dhare prema nama. That's love. So the real enemy is lust. But where can the lust be born? Can the lust come in the mind of a saintly person? No. So where does the lust come? In the mind which is not controlled. So Krishna says in the Gita, the real enemy, the real thing that holds you back is the mind. He says that one who's controlled the mind, that mind is a friend. But one who's not been able to control the mind, that mind is the enemy. You will all see around you the amount of mental health crises we're having right now. So it's important to control the mind. Everyone agrees. You know, everyone has experienced at some point their own mind magnifying a small problem to something far greater. It's almost amazing how bad it is. You know, this small problem you see, and the mind makes it so big. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if? In this way it increases. So the mind is the greatest enemy. So what does it say? Shatru Chedaika Mantram. To destroy the enemies, there is Eka, one mantra. He's not telling us which mantra yet. It's going to be a surprise at the end. So in which way we can control the mind? We can use by this mantra. Our real enemy is the uncontrolled mind. And so by controlling the mind, we are able to carry out the actions in the right way. Many times, all of you will know what is the right thing to do, no? But you won't do that thing. Everyone knows chocolate is not good for your health. There's no real reason you should eat chocolate. Why do people eat chocolate? Audience, why? Enjoy. Taste. Yeah. Because they value the enjoyment they get more than the logic. There is no logic there. No? There is no logic. People know it's important to wake up early. How many people wake up early? People know they shouldn't spend too much time late at night on the phone. How many people just spend scrolling through WhatsApp, YouTube, Instagram? We know what's wrong for us, but we don't do it. This is because of the mind. So the process of controlling the mind is best done through the chanting of these names. And that's the main emphasis of what, that will lead us to understand the next things. Once we realize that we can control the mind through the process of chanting by disciplining the mind, allowing it to really enjoy, because that's where our real enjoyment is, in Lord Krishna's service, not over here, then the mind becomes controlled. And so by chanting this mantra, it's explained that these thoughts which are produced in the mind, they become spiritual, because you're absorbed in spiritual nature while you're chanting the mantra. When your thoughts are spiritual, thoughts become words. Words become actions. So now your actions are now spiritualized. And actions are what keep us in this material world. Everyone has understood to some extent the concept of karma? Yes? So if our actions are spiritual, then they will take us out of this world. So simply from the base level of thoughts, the mantra is spiritualizing in nature. And in this way it controls the mind. That's very important to realize, that it solves the root of the problem. You may have $1 million, $1 billion, doesn't make a difference. The mind is not controlled until the mind is engaged in the service of the Lord. Until one realizes that, they will always be miserable. So, the way we can absorb ourselves in the spiritual nature and destroy our enemies is through taking this mantra. The second thing, Sakalam Upanishad Vakya Sampujya Mantram. So he's given one explanation through the controlling of the mind. Now someone might be a big scholar, they think, no, I'm going to do all these other things that it says in the Vedic literature. There's so many other things recommended. But he says, no, my friend, Sakalam Upanishad Vakya Sampujya Mantram. There's so many mantras in these Upanishads, Upanishad which is a subsect of Vedic literature. So many mantras are there. But what do? They worship this mantra. I'm sure Anandaru Prabhu, our priest over here, he's read so many mantras in his lifetime. He knows all these Om, he'll start beginning just one phrase. Om Tad Vishno Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti. So like this. What's this mantra doing? It's worshipping the holy name of the Lord. So this one mantra is emphasized. So if you think, I'm a scholar of Vedas, well, this is your goal, my friend. This is what he's saying. Then, Samsaro Cheda Mantram. This mantra, Samsara Cheda. So this cycle of birth and death, right? We are not this body, we are a spirit soul, which means that we take many bodies. We are conditioned, we take many bodies. And so we're stuck in this cycle, one body after another, trying to enjoy in this world which there is no enjoyment. How stupid is that? Huh? This is the real definition of insanity. Insanity is defined by doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. This is what we do. We are truly insane. But this mantra doesn't let us do that. Samsara Cheda. It cuts that. It doesn't allow us to stay in this perpetual cycle. And in that way, it allows us to come out. So Dinabandhu Prabhu said earlier, by traveling, we're traveling in this area of misery. Why not travel out? This is what the mantra allows us to do. So many different processes are given for cutting samsara, but this is the one that's recommended. And, on not just a external level, but it easily allows us to transcend on the deepest internal level. People think I've got to do some external performance to it, but if you want an internal change, there should be an internal level carried because it transforms through the consciousness. And finally, samsaro cheda mantram. So we've had 3 points, right? Please keep in mind. The first one, destroys all enemies. Please repeat after me. Destroys all enemies. Second, worshipped by the Upanishads. And the third, destroys the cycle of birth and death. So we've got 3 so far. Sounds like a good bargain? Any businessman comes to you with this. Are you going to say no? No? Of course not. So this is what we want. Now number 4. Samuchita tamasa sanga niryana mantram. Samuchita tamasa, which means this darkness and ignorance which we have built up for lifetimes after lifetimes. It removes that. Everyone close your eyes. Those who are already asleep, they don't have to close. Everyone close your eyes. What do you see? Nothing. So, darkness. There's nothing there. So, now open your eyes. The difference now between those two is because you've been able to open your eyes. So in this way, we were able to see externally when we've opened our materialize. This mantra, which we're going to recommend, will open these spiritual eyes. Now, how will it do that? How will it open your spiritual eyes? How will it remove that ignorance? Well, we've become habituated to building up this ignorance. So without real knowledge, we will have ignorance. We have a lack of knowledge, and without a lack of real knowledge, you're going to do the wrong things only. Yes? Doesn't make sense. If there's a tsunami happening, and you know, okay, I need to run, but if you run towards the tsunami, how will it save you? It will not save. So therefore, you can only carry out a real action if guided by real knowledge. And there's only one way which you can gain that real knowledge in this age, and that is through the mantra, which we're going to recommend later. And then, Sarvaishwaryaika mantram. Aishwarya means opulence, Sarva means all. All opulences you want, you can receive through this mantra. There are different kinds of opulences. Material and spiritual, but material we know are not real opulence. But if you want the real opulence, then you can get by what? By this mantra. So what is that real opulence? Shout out from the audience. What is the real opulences? Being a servant of the Lord. Yes, sorry, we got something from there. Going to the spiritual world. Jignesh Prabhu? Nothing? What's the real opulence? Association with Krishna. Bhakti Yoga. Yeah, exactly. Those 6 opulences. I knew that someone was going to mention them. The 6 opulences. So Krishna, he's all opulent. Everyone agrees? God is all opulent. It's one of the defining features of God. But not only can Krishna have all these opulences, you can get these opulences if you take his shelter. In the same way, a big man has a servant, yeah? And he takes the servant everywhere. The servant, he enjoys all the opulences that the master has, because he's servant of the master. The master goes in a big car, the servant goes in a big car. The master lives in a mansion, servant lives in a mansion. In the same way, if you go to Krishna's abode, my friend, he's telling, you will get all opulences. Krishna is full in 6 opulences. And if you want opulence, just take this mantra. You go there and you're sorted. So all these opulences are given by this mantra. So now we've covered 5 things. Number 1, to destroy enemies. Number 2, worship by all Upanishads. Number 3, overcome the cycle of birth and death. Number 4, destroy the darkness of ignorance. And number 5, to gain the real opulence. And just before he's finishing off, he says, and it will free you from the snake bite. Vyasana bhujaga sandashta santrana mantram. It will free you from a snake bite of worldly distress. So the same thing, which is going deeper and deeper, which each of these points you can analyze systematically, the distress we have is destroyed by this mantra. We are situated in the world which is full of misery. But even while being situated in a world full of misery, this mantra will allow you to not be affected by that misery. In the same way, a lotus leaf, which is within the pond, is not touched by the water because of its thick, waxy cuticle. So the water, when you drop it on a lotus leaf, it just rolls off. So you might be surrounded by misery, but you'll never get affected. Any example? Well, we see from the lives of the devotees. And if you want to look in Shastra, the Ramayana, we have one devotee in Lanka called Vibhishan. He's born in a family of demons, but all he does is take shelter of the name of the Lord, Rama. That's it. And he's surrounded by demoniac people. You know, think of the people that you have to take the association of even if you don't want to in the world around you. He's surrounded by the greatest demons. And what about what's he doing? Is he affected? No. It gives us a chance as well, you see? If Vibhishan's unaffected because of taking the shelter of the name, then so we can be unaffected by these things. And so these are 6 things which he says. And he says, Jifve Shri Krishna Mantram, Japa Japa Satatam Janma Safalya Mantram. What's that? He reveals now. The treasure that I've been hiding from you. What is it? Shri Krishna Mantram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He says, Janma Safalya Mantram. In this way, you can perfect your life. So there's this one mantra, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, right? Mantra. And of these mantras, there's one in particular. And that is the Maha Mantra, given for us in the age of Kali. That Sri Krishna himself, in the mood of Radharani, has brought for us. And these are the things it does. Let's see who remembers. Number 1, to destroy all enemies. 2, worshipped by all Upanishads. 3, allows us to overcome the cycle of birth and death. 4, destroy the darkness of ignorance. 5, gain all opulences. And 6, freeze from the snake bite of worldly distress. Sounds like a good deal? Yes? So this is what we're going to be doing. This Maha Mantra is allowing us to take the deepest essence of all literature, of all philosophy, of all love, and apply in our life in a way which not only purifies us, but allows us to serve the Lord And once this dam is destroyed, the love of God flows incessantly and you can't stop it even if you try to. The greatest devotees, they are maddened on love like this. Lord Shiva, for example, always chanting the name of the Lord, and he becomes maddened by love. You want addiction? No problem, but don't get addicted to drugs. Get addicted to the holy names of the Lord. If you want to be high, no problem, but be high in chanting. Don't be high with all these drugs. By simply taking to the spiritual nature, all these things which people think you can get by drugs, alcohol, and sex, you'll never get anything with any of them. But by taking to the spiritual nature and chanting, you get everything. There is nothing you cannot get by chanting the name of the Lord. And if anyone wants to argue that, catch me outside. So, I'm going to ask our dear Sean Prabhu over here, if you can just read the translation.
Which bit? O tongue. O tongue, please constantly chant the mantra composed of Sri Krishna's names. This is the only mantra for destroying all enemies. The mantra worshipped by every word of the Upanishads. The mantra that uproots samsara. The mantra that drives away all the darkness of ignorance. The mantra for attaining infinite opulence. The mantra for curing those bitten by the poisonous snake of worldly distress. And the mantra for making one's birth in this world successful.
All glories to the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki. All glories to the wonderful nectarian names of the Lord. Shri Krishna Namamrita ki. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, can everyone move a little bit forward, please? We're not going to bite, don't worry, we have a lot of space here. So yes, Sankirtan means chanting, not just Kirtan, but San, together. So it's good if we all come close to each other, close to the Lord, so we can all appreciate the names of the Lord together.
There's a lot of space.
Please keep moving forwards.
There's a lot of space. Show some love. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please sing Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
I just want to take this opportunity before we carry on to thank Sumedh Prabhu just for an absolutely wonderful summary of why chanting the holy name is so important and so expertly given as well. Sumedh Prabhu, he really imbibes the mission of Srila Prabhupada, and we have a lot to learn from him. So just really want to thank you so much to Sumedh, and if we can just chant loudly 3 Hari Bols for the wonderful talk and the wonderful message he gave. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. If you'd like to hear more from Sumedh Prabhu, he leads the sessions every Sunday from 1 till 2:15 that happen simultaneously to the Sunday program upstairs in the library room. So that's for students and young people who would like to know more about Krishna consciousness. So if you'd like to join those, then please come along to the library room upstairs from 1 p.m. every Sunday. Thank you. Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please chant loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama
Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Please sing louder.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare.
Hare
Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Sri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Sri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Sri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Sri Radhe.
Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva.
Jaya Panchatattva,
Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai.
Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Haribol, Haribol, Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Nitai Gaura Hari Gaur, Hari
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Hari Naam Sankirtan Yagna ki Nitai Gaura Premanande, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Nitai Gaura Premanande. You can all sit down. There's another one after this. Another 45 minutes. Same scale. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Going to medium beat. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama Hare
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
We'd like a minute and
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo! Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna That's 1 minute break. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Premanande Nitai Gaura Premanande Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Mo Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam Jai जय श्री श्री राधा गोकुलनंद भगवान की, श्री श्री पंचतत्व भगवान की, जय श्री नरसिम्हा देव प्रहलाद महाराज की, जय जय श्री राधेश्याम, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की, जय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की, His Divine Grace श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य शल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, श्री षड गोस्वामी वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, ब्रिज भूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथ पुरी धाम की जय, श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, कलयुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय, श्री पंच तत्व की जय, श्री श्री राधा गोकुलानंद की जय, ISKCON मैनचेस्टर संडे फीस्ट महोत्सव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for coming to this Sunday Feast Festival. Is anyone coming for the first time or after a long, long time? Yes? Okay, so we have a tradition. If I could ask you to stand up and introduce yourselves, what brings you here? We can welcome you formally. We'll start with you.
My name is Mona. I'm from Gujarat, India, and I'm studying here at Southwood University. And since back in India, I followed Lord Krishna tradition. Basically, my family is from Sumedh tradition, but still I believe in Krishna. So I followed the ISKCON temple and the devotees and the tradition of ISKCON. When I came here, I don't know the ISKCON temple is here. One of my friends, Jignesh, who is here, and he said me that there is a temple, we can go there, and then I followed a morning Sangha group, and I got message that today is this event, so I bring one of my friends with me.
Welcome. Excellent. In the right place. Thank you for making all the effort. Yourself? Do you also live in Manchester?
Yeah, me and Mona live
Okay, together. Welcome. Very good. Excellent. Welcome. So,
Sabita, and we are from Tirupati, and we used to visit ISKCON temple in Tirupati, and we love these kirtanas and this tradition. That's why Madhaviji, she told me that here ISKCON temple is there and bhajan and kirtan will be there. So that's why we brought our family, we came here.
who else has come with you?
Along with me, my husband came and my
Okay.
brother also.
Welcome. Welcome.
So we really enjoyed here. This kirtan was awesome.
Is devotee here might be
Yes.
Satish came before. Yeah.
Hi, my Matt, I'm from Stockport, so I'm not as far away. Yeah, I picked up Science of Self-Realization years ago. Yeah. Put it on the shelf. Wow. And 2 weeks ago, I picked it up, read it, and then started chanting.
Wow, that's nice. Excellent. Welcome. Okay. I think Jignesh, you come.
I just came here today. Actually, I came from Sheffield only because of this session. Before attending this session, I was in bus. I had a night shift. I completed at 1 a.m. Sorry, and I had no sleep. And before I came here, there was a lot of pain in my leg, but I don't know where is this pain. So, yeah, completely. Sumedh Prabhu had given me very good opportunity to come here, and he also we had morning sangha in Tuesday and Thursday. So it's like very good opportunity for me to develop my spirituality. So thanks for everyone.
Welcome. Anyone else? You've come after a long time? No, you've come regularly. Yes, yeah. Hare Krishna. So it is also said that whenever there is chanting of the holy names of the Lord, a lot of great personalities also come, like Lord Brahma, Narad Muni, Hanumanji. They come in various forms. They may be seated around you, visible, invisible. But that's the power of the holy name. We would like to welcome all of you very heartily. We have a lot of programs in the temple. So every Sunday from 12:30 onwards, we have a Sunday program. Like today, the 4th Sunday of the month, we do exclusive Kirtan for 12:30 to 3:30 onwards. Other days, we also have Katha, some discourse on Bhagavad Gita or the scriptures. We also celebrate various festivals in the temple. Every first and third Saturday, we have a full morning program. We have it every Saturday, but specifically on first and third Saturday from 5 o'clock onwards, we have a program, and first and third Saturday we have a Bhagavatam class followed by Prasadam. So there are a lot of activities going on in the temple. Be part of it. After the program, you can contact me, Governor Raj Prabhu, any one of us, and we can give you more details. If you give your phone numbers to us, we can add you to our WhatsApp group, and then we can regularly update you with the activities in the temple. So we would like to welcome all of you by loudly chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So speaking of festivals, we have our Ram Navami festival coming up. Not the Sunday, but the Sunday after, 9th of April. 10th of April, we will be celebrating it in the temple. We will have our Sunday program from 12:30 onwards, but it would be dedicated to the appearance of Lord Ramchandra. Also, April month's Saturday classes, the first and third Saturday morning classes, are dedicated to Lord Ramchandra, and our devotee Madhav Kumar Prabhu will be speaking on Lord Ramchandra. So please do make it a point to attend. If you can't attend right from the beginning, 5 o'clock onwards, do come at about 7:30 a.m. and you can attend the program. I'm also very happy to announce that we have an Easter retreat to ISKCON Scotland Temple, Karuna Bhavan. And we announced it about 6-7 weeks ago, and straight after the announcement, all the accommodation was booked. So 34 devotees have booked themselves. We'll be going from Easter Friday till Easter Monday. I have asked Scottish devotees if they can allow us hotel accommodation, because I've got a waiting list as well. So if you are interested, let me know. I can give the list to them, and if they allow hotel accommodation, then more devotees can attend. It would be a proper spiritual retreat, lot of kirtan, katha, prasadam, lot of activities. There'll be some time for socializing, for playing some games as well. You can meet all the devotees, you can live with them for 3 nights. You'll get to know each other better. So it would be a very nice opportunity. Please do come. Anything else? Okay.
Just came out. Can I come there, or otherwise is it okay? Where is the
come
cordless one? Yeah,
you come.
it's okay, it's okay. Sorry, it's okay. Haribol. Hare Krishna. We need your help, as always, and today as well. So I need one volunteer I'm looking for to clean this temple hall and the next door. If you are willing, just only one volunteer is required yourself. Thank you so much, Jignesh Prabhu. I hope you're feeling better. So he walked until 1 a.m. and his leg was paining. He jumped now and he's ready to offer more service. See, this is what happens to you. If you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, direct experience. Thank you. And we also need some volunteers for serving prasadam. If you are willing, if you are happy to serve, just raise your hand, but do serve. Purushottam Prabhu, yourself, you two of you, that's fine. I think 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see if 8, I can see 8 of you over there. I hope I can see you there. We are serving prasadam in the back garden. Prasadam is sanctified food, special food. We offer our food to the Lord, and then we honor prasadam. It will be served in the back garden, so you can go and enjoy in a while, in a little while. So we have one more announcement. Our congregational member, Manjula Mataji, sitting over there, has kindly sponsored 10 Bhagavad Gitas. And she's seeking special blessing for her son, Bharat. Let us chant one Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mataji, thank you so much for your kind sponsorship. And we would like to announce that if you do not have an English copy of Bhagavad Gita, you can come and collect one from me. Now you can raise your hand. If you want one, I've got 10 copies, first come on a first serve basis. If you don't have a copy, you can take one there. Only one? It's free. 2, those who do not have a copy yet. Ramila Mataji, you don't have a copy yet. Okay, no problem. 3. Yeah. Very, very honest. Okay, Hare Krishna. So now we'll ask someone to sing Mahaprasadam prayers and take prasadam. Who would like to sing?
Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmani Vaishnave Swapapunyavatam Rajan Vishwasane Vijayate Sharirad Vijajal Jadandya Taikal Jive Fele Vishaya Sagare Dharmadij Vayati Lobamoy Sudurmati